See a sucker suit on a hot summer day. Coffee comes back in a nerve-wracking way. The dishes and laundry take the garbage out. What a day, what a day, what a day.
Good morning and welcome to Capital Region Today. Ann Perillo is not able to be with us today, but she's planned an excellent show. Some of the people on today include Harbinger Theater, Community Clothing Drive, Juneteenth, Homemade Theater, and Opera Saratoga. So, we have a wonderful show planned for you. Sit back and relax, and I'm going to introduce my friend Patrick White from Harbinger Theater.
Hello, Janice.
Hello, Patrick.
This is very exciting.
Yes, so I'm not sure it's as exciting as chasing squirrels around.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, we're doing a production of The Squirrels, and we have a cast of 12 squirrels. Winter is coming. The gray squirrels have all the nuts. The fox squirrels won't survive without them. And a wily outsider comes in and uses the division to his own ends.
Oh, where have we heard that
Yeah, not a red hat in sight.
Well, having worked with you before, Patrick, I know that you choose such wonderful productions to bring here.
Yeah.
New and different ones. So let's mention when it opens, and then we'll repeat that at the end.
Sure. It's at Sand Lake Center for the Arts in Averill Park, and it's June 21st through 30th, Friday through Sunday, and we have a free preview on June 20th, Thursday.
Yes. Now, I noticed you brought some people with you. I don't know if they're squirrels or whatever.
Oh, got a couple of squirrels.
Oh, you have a couple
Yes,
of
my
squirrels.
squirrels. To my right here is Carrie Casmira Wichtrim, and over here is Alia Al Fuhaid, and down here is Lisa Breik. Yes.
So, let's see what we want to hear about all your from your squirrels here, huh?
Okay,
So, Carrie,
Hi,
hi. Are you a squirrel?
I am the wily stranger, as aforementioned.
Oh, so
Yes.
you're going to really stir up the pot here.
Yes, yeah, there are already underlying tensions, and I bring them to the surface. So, yeah,
Do you have to wear a bushy tail
I do, and ears.
and ears?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Those are the perks, though. So,
Oh, you get to keep them afterwards?
no, maybe as a cast party present. Fingers
Oh, you
crossed.
got to talk with the costume person.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes. Now, have you worked with Patrick before?
Not with. Well, Patrick produced Mrs. Packard for Harbinger Theater,
yes,
which
right.
was directed by his partner Chris, and I was
Right.
in that, which was a great experience.
And it was a delightful presentation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Squirrels is slightly different from that.
Yeah, slightly different tone, you could say.
Yeah.
What I like about it is that it has this absurdist tone, but it really has something to say. But you go in laughing and you leave feeling like, you actually listen to something of substance. So when a piece of art can do both things, I find that really special.
Yes, and that's one of the things that art can do for us is to bring those issues forward. Hopefully to remind people of some of the issues without turning everybody off.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
So do we have two other squirrels here?
I play Mamalia, the mama squirrel of the Squirreled, the forest. And the squirrels and I actually go back a couple of years. So the Squirrels was first introduced to Harbinger Theater in May of 22 at one of our first play reading committee meetings. It didn't get chosen for the 23 season, but Patrick's partner Chris Foster and I did a scene from the Squirrels for scene night in January of 23. And that August, it landed on the 24 season from the next year's play reading selection committee. So it was just so fun to do. How could you not do the squirrels? I mean, it's the fun and craziness and ridiculousness of it is baked in. It's our challenge to bring out the seriousness of it. Usually it's the other way around. This time we have to bring up the seriousness of it and the issues that Carrie was just referring to. So it's just a lot of fun. And yes, the ears and tails and the language from the script. You know, instead of speaking, we say squeaking and squawking, and like I mentioned, squirreled instead of whirled, and it's just so fun. And we're having a blast.
Oh.
It's a great time.
That's part of it, I think. And so then you are also.
I am the choreographer. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's a very movement-based piece, and there are a few sections throughout with music in the background. And since there's so much movement, Patrick decided that it would be a good decision to bring on a choreographer.
Okay, so we have talking and dancing squirrels.
Yes,
in this.
exactly.
Yeah. Sand Lake Center for the Arts, they only had 2 weeks free for us to do the show, so I knew I couldn't build a set. So we're loading in on Monday, and we're before an audience on Thursday. So I said, how am I going to get something interesting to look at? So we're building 12 trees on wheels, which are going to move and create new spaces. And I knew I needed help to get 12 squirrels moving around.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and I'd worked with Alia a few times before. We've only known each other a year, and I
But
think
we've
this
worked
is our
together so
fourth
much.
production.
Wow.
We did a play called The Nether in Ghent Playhouse, where Alia played a 13-year-old girl. And then Custom Cuts by Brian Sheldon, and Alia was the sister in that play. And just our previous production, In the Blood,
Yeah.
Alia was in that.
Yes. Well, having seen some of your productions before, Patrick, I know you often do a very interesting job in changing the scenery between different acts. So,
Yeah, it's part of the play. You know, you can't expect an audience to just shut their eyes for half a minute, like, and go black and say, okay, we'll be right back in a second, you know, as the stage crew comes on. So I always look at it as an opportunity to continue the themes and tell the story through the work, through movement.
yes.
And similarly, when we did our photo shoot for the squirrels, we did it at Crossgates Mall. You know, we were talking about where do we want to do a photo shoot for the squirrels, and we were thinking of park, the forest. I was like,
Yeah.
that's kind of boring. That's where we see squirrels, and part of the point of the play is how much are humans like squirrels and how are squirrels like humans, and to see the connection. So we got permission to go to Crossgates Mall, and we had a blast. And these awesome pictures of the squirrels at the bar, on top of the garbage cans, at the food court, shopping for cell phones. And while we were there, there was an audience building around us, taking pictures, yeah? And we thought, man, we should have given Channel 10 a heads up on this.
Oh, yes,
you know, we
yes,
could have
yes.
gotten some prime time
good
coverage.
publicity, yes.
But we got an awesome set of shots by David Quinones Jr.
Oh, yes,
fun.
yes.
And it expands the story and tells, you know, what we're doing with it.
So, as was explained, you sometimes find your place through these readings. I think, the Christians, a few
Which
years
you were
ago.
in.
Yes.
Our inaugural production.
Yes.
You were in the choir, December of 2021, defying the pandemic.
That was great fun. I don't often get a chance to just wail a little bit on some gospel music, so that was great fun. But that's how you find your place. I mean, we know, if you know Patrick, you know that he and Chris just see plays every waking hour of their life.
Yes.
And so, is that how you make the choice of your season, is to have the readings? Or?
Sometimes, but it's funny, the 4 plays scheduled this year, we have not seen. We came through them through readings, and we do scene night. Last night was a scene night for my acting class. Harbinger kind of built out of my acting class,
Right.
and we did 10 of the scenes from last night were from plays that have not yet been produced in the Capital Region. So although Chris and I see 300 plays a year, we're also reading.
Yes, yes, yes. And I mean, why was Harbinger created? Was it to do those new plays?
Yeah, and to have fun. It's hard. It's hard. I have a very supportive board. Lisa has been with me since the beginning. But it's hard to get a group of people to say, let's have a photo shoot at Crossgates. No, we have to take out insurance. We have to get permission. We'll just take photos in the rehearsal room. And so I just wanted to have fun.
Oh, yes. Yes.
When I first read the play, I said Harbinger has to produce this and Patrick White has to direct it because of his vision and his movement that he has. It's just wonderful and it's perfect for this play.
And this is our 13th production since December of 21.
I know.
And it's our 12th Capital Region premiere.
Yes, yes. Now, have either of you worked with Patrick before? You have, as choreographer, you said 4 times recently. Have you worked with him before?
Not directly, no. This was my first chance. I'd heard great things from a lot of people who did his acting class and custom cuts. Well, which he didn't direct, but which he was involved in, I heard was great. Just everything that Harbinger does, that he's been a part of, there's such a sense of joy to the creation of it. So I was excited to be a part of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I certainly agree. Again, let's repeat dates and where can they get tickets, and how far is Sand Lake from downtown Albany
Yeah.
or Schenectady, just so people have an idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure about downtown Schenectady, probably 45 minutes. Downtown Albany, it's about 20 minutes from the plaza.
Yes.
Out to Averill Park, you get on Route 43 and it's 2880 Route 43. And,
Yes.
there's a bunch of great places to eat out there. Lakeview Tavern, Town Tavern, Mess Hall has become a recent favorite of mine. Yeah, they do all sorts of chicken sandwiches. So, but yeah, it's the Squirrels, and it is June 21st through June 30th, Thursday through Sunday. Sunday matinees at 2, and free preview Thursday night, June 20th, and tickets are available at the website www.actingclasswithpatrickwhite.net, or you can find it on Eventbrite.
Okay. Thank you very much for being
Thank you.
here.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Jen.
you so much. Thank you.
You did great.
So apparently, if we all want to go nuts, we'll go over and see the squirrels. Now, we have community clothing drives. So this is an interesting topic,
Thank you.
especially since we Americans seem to be so wasteful
Yes.
about things. So tell us how it started. First, introduce yourself. please.
Sure. I'm Jasenia Macaulay, a wardrobe utilization specialist, and I will let her.
Sure. I'm Kyla Pecoraro. I'm the composting and recycling educator for Cornell Cooperative Extension of Schenectady County.
So, as a wardrobe utilization specialist, one of the things that I do is research all the time. I research the economy, the industry, and whatnot. And I started, noticing maybe 5 years ago or so that fast fashion, when I was working with my clients, led to them having major issues with their detoxing. So I would get hired to do a detoxing, and then some of the mental cues and some of that conversation, I noticed it was a bigger problem than just something I could cure individually. So I thought, what could I do? Started doing some clothing swaps in about 2021, and I found that there's an issue because of clothing insecurity. The people that need clothing weren't able to participate because they felt as though they didn't have anything to bring, so they didn't want to come. So I thought about it and I said, what can we do? Came up with an idea for what's called a drip drop. So that's a clothing donation event. And then a pick a fit, which is a community clothing giveaway event. And I took those ideas to Schenectady County Recycles, and Kyla loved the idea and decided to partner with me. So we are going to be having this on the 15th of June and the 22nd of June.
And where is this going to happen?
It's going to be at the Electric City Barn on Craig Street in Schenectady, which we're very excited for them to be hosting us. Justine is a member there, so we're well acquainted with the space, and they hold events that really speak to what we do anyway. Things like the Repair Cafe, so where we can bring broken items instead of sending them to the landfill. We have makers and fixers who can fix and repair items instead of sending them off into nothingness.
And can you elaborate on the kind of things that people could bring to that?
The repair cafes are fantastic, and the barn is specifically set up to facilitate that because they have different rooms for different things like printmaking and wood shop and metal shop and all sorts of sewing machines for anyone that wants to use them. So you can bring basically any of those kinds of items, and the fixers will fix them. And those events happen quarterly, and Schenectady County Recycles typically tables at them. So if something can't be repaired for whatever reason, we're there to direct people to recycle it responsibly rather than sending it to the landfill.
Now, is there a fee for the repairing of it?
No, which is the most beautiful part.
wonderful.
Yes, which is why I'm so happy to support it, because one of the missions of Schenectady County Recycles is to not only increase education and outreach around recycling and composting, but also increase accessibility. So when Jasenia approached me about this, and exactly that point of when you go to an event, kind of like a swap, a clothing swap, you're anticipating I bring 5 items, I leave with 5 items. Well, in reality, some people want to get rid of things and they actually don't want to bring new things home. So we're trying to facilitate opportunities in 2 different events that reflect those needs. So the first event is strictly a drop-off, and it's all free, and we have volunteers going through everything. And then the following week is when you can come and pick up items for free. You do not have to have dropped anything off, and we'll have some education along with that just to make sure we're driving home that mission.
Right. I made a bargain with myself that if I put something new into my closet, I have to take something out.
That's good.
And for a while, I made a lot of my own clothing, so it got down to the things I'd made, and that made it very difficult. But no, as you were mentioning about fashion and changing, people want to be up to date, but you have things in your closet.
So that's the hard part, right? If we have a personal style, do we really need to be up to date with anybody else? Right? So that the thought, when I looked at the numbers in Schenectady County producing 7,200 tons of fashion waste per year.
Say that again.
7,200 tons of fashion waste a year, right? And that's 3.86% of our municipal solid waste, right? So looking at those numbers, New York State is at 1.4 billion pounds of fashion waste, which costs us, New York taxpayers, about $36 million to manage that waste, right?
Okay, so it is costing us
It is costing
taxpayers for people to be fashionable.
So not only is it costing us to purchase, but it's also costing us on the back end to get rid of it.
Yes.
So when I look at it at county, state, it became a no-brainer on how do we, and clothing insecurity is the thing, right? And in the community, you have conversations with people and you'll say, you're so brilliant at something. Why don't you try to speak to such and such and so-and-so? And they'll say, I don't have the clothes for that, and I don't know I can't dress for that, I can't. And so you can come to the pick a fit and get an outfit and go for that opportunity.
Yes, and that really, we know the old expression of clothes make a man, but of course they make anybody.
Yeah. Right.
And we all know the feeling of adding a pretty scarf to an outfit that you've had for a while. My husband and I travel, and basically that's one of the ways you can travel light.
Yes.
Just a little scarf, a little sweater or something like this. So it doesn't have to be much, but that helps us to have a better feeling about ourselves.
Absolutely. It absolutely increases your confidence, and it absolutely increases your connectivity to others, because when you have on an interesting outfit, like today I'm kind of feeling chill, so I wore something chill, but when I feel a little more pizzazzy, right, I get a different I get a different response to people.
Yes.
They seem a little happier to see me, and I'm
Yes.
actually no different than I was the day before, but it really is
Right.
the outfit that's able to pull that extra energy.
Yes.
And it's very important that for people who feel like they're not in the best position or they are actually in poverty, something as small as clothing really can change their whole dynamic and give them the confidence to try to do something different than what they see or feel.
Yes, and as you say, perhaps it can be in their style.
Yes.
It doesn't need to be what we're blasted at as the style.
Yeah, I kind of liken the fashion industry to the Wizard of Oz, right? Like there's a bunch of people somewhere telling us to wear these things, but we don't know them, and so for some reason we listen to them. I want to help reverse that. Let's get into our own self again, right? And with all stuff that's going on with like bigger like celebrities and stuff, I think it's time for us to get back to ourselves.
Yes.
This is one way that I'm hoping that I could support doing that, and I'm thankful for Kyla and Schenectady County Recycles for being a part of the vision. Thank you.
Yes.
So happy you approached me about this. I think it's the perfect connection between reuse, reduction, recycling, all of the things that I
Yes.
work on every day, and then kind of bringing it down to the people level, right? We're actually going to be speaking with people, teaching them how to mend their clothing at the event, using some of the Repair Cafe menders who are so gracious in
of
donating their
course.
time. And you will be educating people during the event about how to find your own style and how to preserve your style, and I'm going to be teaching people how to kind of put the blinders on when people are trying to influence you to buy more and buy new and buy
Yes.
different. So
Yes.
we'll be kind of putting all of these concepts together for this event,
Right.
and hoping that we get a lot of great donations and a lot of great people coming to pick a fit and style with us.
And so when people are have gone through their closets and they have some things to donate, then they can just bring them down at any time? Or
Between 10
where-
and 2.
Where do they get them?
Between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. we'll be there.
On June 15th.
On June 15th, that's the day that you can bring things?
Yes.
And I'm presuming that you would like them in good shape and
Oh, yes.
clean and stuff.
One of our partners, so we have partners of course, we're probably not going to be able to give away all of the clothing. So we started to partner with different organizations, one of them being Clothing Factory Direct. And their motto is that, quality equals dignity. So we're going with that model. We were looking for quality clothing that people can feel dignified wearing. Items that cannot be worn will be going to our partner Wastewear, where they'll be recycling the items and making them into new items. So, and you can also shop their things as well. So we have community partners also strategically in place to ensure that we're using our donations effectively.
Yes.
And we're getting that waste out of the county.
Yes. And at my age, friends retire, and you have your business clothing and you wonder, I don't need it now. I don't need as many pretty dresses. I'm wearing, tees and jeans all the time. So it is always good to find a place that it can serve people.
Yes.
And you can pass it on.
Right.
So one more time for the date and time that, number one, people can drop off things.
So it's June 15th, 10 to 2, June 22nd, 10 to 2.
And those are all at the
Electric City
Electric
Barn
City Barn, which is on Craig Street.
on Craig Street.
Okay. So thank you very much. This is exciting.
Thank
We
you.
are so wasteful.
Yes.
And both with food and clothing. So this is a wonderful project. So we wish you good luck with
Thank you.
that.
Thank you very
Hopefully
much.
you
for
get
having
tons
us.
of things.
We
Thank you
hope
so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
So, hello. Some friendly faces over here. So, excuse me, we have Mickey Kahn, we have Betty, we have Walter, and a new face, Daryl. Hello, how are you? So, I'm going to say, Mickey, would you please set us? We're going to be talking about Juneteenth right now. So, set us up, and then we'll have everyone speak a little bit. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Juneteenth is the celebration of freedom, freedom from slavery in the United States. Many people learned in school that the slaves were freed through the Emancipation Proclamation. Not entirely true. Some slaves were freed then. But there was still a balance of slaves who knew that freedom was on the horizon, but needed to have it officially proclaimed and stated before they could live as free people. And that was June 19th, which became known as Juneteenth. So that's the history of the year. I am so bad at dates, but 1865.
Okay, so
That's
at
why
the
I
end
have to
of the
bring.
Civil War, of course.
Yep,
Yes.
yes. So in the years following the Juneteenth date, the former slaves were celebrating, as you can imagine, but also traveled to find their families and loved ones who had been moved about by slave owners. So there was great reunioning, if that's a word, and celebrations. And this custom that was created has traveled east from Texas, where it first occurred, to Schenectady.
Yes.
And we've been celebrating Juneteenth now for 24 years.
24 years.
And when we started, very few of us knew what Juneteenth was. A friend of mine said, the Hamilton Hill Art Center, should be celebrating Juneteenth. And I said, what's Juneteenth? So now our hope is that everyone at least knows what Juneteenth is in Schenectady. We have a big celebration planned for June 21st and 22nd this year.
Yeah, I was trying to say it's grown.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
And Nikki was in charge of the Hamilton Hill Art Center for many years.
Yes.
Many years.
Yes. Yep.
And so, what is your celebration going to be on those 2 days?
Well, we have Walter to talk about the Friday celebration, but
Okay.
I'll speak a little bit about Saturday, and Betty will talk about Saturday as well. And Darrell is a big part of Saturday, a new part.
A new part, okay.
But basically, it's a day, if I were to summarize it, of celebration, of community reunioning, everybody getting together, of showing off, you might say, the talents, the skills, the abilities that people of all ages have. This is particularly of interest to African Americans because that's a part of our history that we have not celebrated, well, before 24 years ago in Schenectady. And it's a real opportunity to showcase the growth and the talent that is in the area. Of course, there are vendors, food, activities for children. It's for all ages.
And it is not only for our Black community to get together, but it's open and for everyone.
To everyone who values freedom.
Yes. Yes.
We wanna
Hopefully
see
that's
you.
many, many, many people.
We hope so, yes.
And they all vote.
Yes.
I'm going to go over to Walter. So, Walter, if you can tell us what's going to happen on Friday, and then we'll go to the Saturday event.
Well, on Friday, we're having a ceremony at Vale Cemetery.
Okay.
We have a plot there called the African American Burial Plot. It used to be called the Old Colored Plot because at one time people of color could not be buried beside white people or Caucasians. So what has happened is we began to realize what the situation was, and we began this cleanup project. It was a community endeavor where we decided, no, number one, we're changing the name of it, and we're also going to transform it into something that we take ownership on. And so that's how it began. And it began actually on one of the, we used to have a youth service day Promises for Youth here in Schenectady. And ever since then, we have gone in, we cleaned it up, we started planting arborvitae trees, and now they were little things, and now they're really gigantic. And every year we have a ceremony. This year, our ceremony, we're paying tribute to Dr. Bernie McAvoy,
Oh, yes,
okay, who passed recently.
right.
And the reason why we're doing that is because he was so instrumental in a lot of the things that we've done there
Yes,
and being supportive of it. And in fact, he helped us to become a site on the National Underground Railroad Trail.
yes.
You know,
yes.
and so every year he would be there supporting us and anything that we wanted to try to do. He was very much a part of it.
Yes,
So we have to remember that our ancestors can come in different places, different forms, and different colors.
and
It's because of their attitudes and behaviors. And so we're going to kick off that Friday evening, which will usher in the rest of the Juneteenth celebration.
and what time is that Friday evening
That's to
celebration?
start about 6 o'clock.
And so if people were not familiar with Vale Cemetery, how are they going to get there and which entrance is best?
I think the best interest is to State Street side. I think that, I'm not quite sure, 460, whatever it is.
Okay, yes,
Okay, but the State Street entrance, and when you come in, you just take the straight road, and it's the first left as you come in because it splits up, and it'll be right there on your left.
now, how do you remember when this change in name and this care of that plot began? How many years ago?
I think it was in 2006,
Uh-huh,
if I remember. Mickey might know more, but I think it was 2006 when we began to clean it up and rename it, and then began to deal with the people who were buried there. That's why every year we have a different type of celebration. And we give honor to ancestors who were buried there, such as Moses Viney, the runaway slave, who ran away from Maryland and worked with Alephia Knott.
oh, yes,
And then,
Yes.
you know, he when Knott died, he left him $1,000 in a carriage.
right?
And
Which was
so
a lot of
Moses
money.
and he turned into a businessman.
Yes,
But these are the things. Margaret Walker, who died at 103, and she was in Schenectady during the American Revolution. So there are many people that are there that give tribute to the contributions in Schenectady itself
yes.
and the culture of our environment.
Yes, and our community is enriched by all of these people.
Yes.
And I'm going to give Betty a chance now to tell us what's going to go on Saturday. And you are involved in the Saturday event also? Okay, so Betty, why don't you start us off?
Well, Saturday is going to be another great day.
Of
After
course,
Friday.
of course.
We have, as we were saying, we have a lot of new things occurring, and of course, one of those is our friend Darryl, who is going to present us with a fabulous hair show, and we're looking forward to that.
Okay,
We have entertainment. Our program will begin, actually, we're going to have a parade at 1 o'clock
and where does that
from the
go?
Rose Garden
Oh, okay.
to the main stage.
Okay, yeah.
And from there, our program will begin, where we'll have Zorky Nelson and the drummers and dancers, followed by Mount Oliver's Praise Dance
yes.
Team.
Yeah.
Then we're going to have an hour of fantastic song by Miss Jerry Howard Phillips. And we're so looking forward to her voice. We haven't heard in a long, long time.
Oh, nice.
And we have a lot of local talent that's awesome. It's just too many to name. But our main act will be George Boone's Blues Band. And we have a hip hop hour also
yes, that's
with
very
several artists. And we've just got awesome talent going
Yes.
on. So
Number one, it doesn't matter what kind of music you like. We have great people
Got it
in this
all.
area
yes,
to do music.
Yes.
But we also have great people to do hair.
Yes.
So Daryl's going to tell us, what are you doing with hair?
Well, my name is Darrell Michael. I'm a master hairstylist in the 518.
Yes.
I'm also a hair artist, and what I plan to bring for the hair show, it will basically be, we will go through the elevation of black hair with black hair trends and things like that, and basically we will go through different, because to me, Juneteenth is a lot of free. It means freedom is liberating. So I want the people to be free. I want them to love what they see, pick out the trends that they know, things like that. I plan to bring a couple creative pieces that have probably not been seen before. I'm a hair artist that does a lot of different and creative, innovative things. So I want people to come out to come see it, so that way they can see exactly like what to expect for the years coming and what we are elevating to within our community.
Now, do you have your own shops? Or?
I am a freelance hairstylist, but I am a production hairstylist as well. So I also do a lot of traveling, and I also do like Fashion Week and things like that. So I do a lot of avant-garde and high-pressured situations with shows and things like that.
Oh, wow. Yes, it seems like there is a lot of pressure in there on those shows. But now, how did you decide to have hair as part of this?
you know what happened last year? Darryl was there. We had him, unfortunately, we had him scheduled in the pavilion. And as the day went on, you would see his style, his models walking around the park with these awesome hairdos. And everybody's wondering, where are they going, where are they coming from? So we decided this year we need to bring them out so that everyone can see them. So they'll be at the stage this year.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like a wonderful event, which it always is. And again, let's give me the date, Mickey.
June 21st and 22nd.
And so the parade is in the Rose Garden.
Yes,
Friday night is in Vale Cemetery.
That's right.
So,
Can I say one thing?
yes.
We are having a volunteer night on June 12th at 6:30 in Central Park. If anyone is interested in volunteering, please come through and sign up. You cannot come and sign up the day of.
Yes, okay. So anyone who wants to volunteer,
Yeah.
go sign up on June 12th. Okay, and that's
And
at
we
Central
still
Park.
have room for vendors.
And they still have room for vendors, so let's get even some more food and fun things there.
Yep.
Thank you very much, all of you, for being here today and telling
you
us
for
about
having us.
Juneteenth, a very important
Thank
date.
you. Thank
Very
you for
important
having
event.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Eric.
Hello, Janice. How are you?
I'm well.
It's nice to see you in the chair.
I was going to say, the last time you saw me, I was in either a German dirndl or a nun habit.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
We were fortunate enough to have you on our stage at Pitney Meadows Community Farms last year when we did the Sound of Music there, and this year, of course, we're doing the Secret Garden in the same
Secret
venue.
Garden, yes, in the same venue, and it's a lovely venue, very open in Saratoga.
Yes.
So, Secret Garden is opening up pretty soon.
Yes, it opens Friday, this Friday, June 7th. A little scary. Have to dash out of here and go finish the set before we take photos tonight. So.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's one of the things of theater. It makes it such fun.
Yes, yes, but it always magically comes together, and this is the perfect show to demonstrate that magic because it's a very magical story, of course, of rejuvenation and rebirth, if you will, and coming to terms with loss as well. And it's a beautiful story with a beautiful, beautiful score by Lucy Simon, who is Carly Simon's sister, actually. And the book is by Marcia Norman, who, of course, is the Pulitzer Prize winning playwright who wrote Night Mother, which we did last season.
Yes.
But this is a much more cheery story than
Yeah.
that. So
Now, how big is the cast here?
the cast is actually fairly small. It's only about 20 people.
Oh, okay.
21 in total, and that includes 2 casts of children because we
Yes.
have there are 2 children in the show, and we have that double cast, and they are alternating performances each weekend. So as opposed to Sound of Music, where we had one cast do one weekend and another cast do the other weekend.
Right.
This year, they're alternating. So our Rose cast, which is Claire O'Donnell and Abraham Hustis, they open the show on Friday night, and they do the evening shows this weekend. And the other cast, the Lily cast, which is Mallory Davis and Jack Harnick. Hollick. Sorry, Jack. Jack Hollick. They are our Lily cast, and they do the matinees the first weekend, and then they flip the second week.
Okay, so the
So-
matinee ones do the night show. et
Exactly.
cetera. Yeah. And so who's your musical director for this?
Richard Cherry is the musical director, and Heather Darcy, who did our choreography for 9. And actually, Richard was the musical director for both The Sound of Music and
Yes.
9, and many other shows for us.
Yeah.
They have joined the team
Yes. Good.
for the Secret Garden.
Yes. So tell us about the space that we picked
The
up.
space, it's technically it's outdoor, but it's covered because it's a converted greenhouse, which is perfect for this story, of course. It has open sides and a roof, but the roof does open so that it does air out and you get a nice breeze through once in a while. Now, last year for The Sound of Music, we did what's called a traverse stage. So we had audience on 2 sides with scenes that happened on either end and in the middle.
Right.
For the Secret Garden, we're doing it on a thrust stage. So it's audience on 3 sides and one end with scenery. So a little different. Same number of seats, but a little more intimate.
So this is exciting. Now, how many years have you been at that location?
This is actually only our second production at that location. And I should mention that we opened this weekend, which is Belmont weekend, of course,
gosh,
in
yes.
Saratoga. But don't be afraid to come
Right,
because we're
because
on the other side of town.
Right.
And there's plenty of free parking. So with a little careful planning, you can still get there without any
Yes,
difficulty.
you can avoid all of
You can
that.
avoid all of that. And if you're
Right.
going to the races, why not come see some theater in the evening?
yes.
A little entertainment that's very family friendly, a
Yes.
lovely story for the whole family to enjoy.
Yes. Now, I mean, did you have any clue that they were going to be the Belmont when you set it up?
There were whisperings, but we didn't know exactly what the dates were, and then they announced them, and we're like,
But as you said, I mean, when you're coming up Route 50, you just take the left-hand side of the Y and you avoid
yes. From here,
Saratoga.
it's very easy to do,
Yeah.
and you can even avoid SPAC if you take like Middle Line
yes,
Road,
right.
which if you're coming up Route 50, there's a sign that says 67 this way. You just take that road, and you can get there very easily. Yes.
Yep. So now, after this goes on, have you formulated another season?
We are in the process of trying to secure venues next year. Venues are very scarce at the moment,
Yes.
and unfortunately, fortunately for them, but unfortunately for us, Saratoga Arts, which is one of the venues that we use, is apparently going to be doing some renovations. So it's not available really for us. So we're scrambling a little bit to find venues, and once we secure some venues, then we can figure out the season.
Yes, I sing in Octavo Singers, a large oratorio group. We do Handel's Messiah. We just did Elijah, and the venue is always
the venue is
such a
always a
problem.
challenge. Yes,
it is.
yes,
It's a
it
challenge,
is.
and they, you know,
Our costume designer is part of your group, Sharon Green.
Oh.
Is our costume designer.
Yes.
And her partner is, I believe, the director.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes, Andrew Berger.
Andrew, yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
that is right too. I
It's a
was-
small world, isn't it?
It is. When our kids were younger, I used to say it's a small community, you have to behave, but I find I even have to behave.
Yes, yes.
Very tough.
Yes.
It's very tough. But yeah, I saw Andrew just the other day, and he did mention that. That is right. Yep. So tell us again the weekends, and where do they get tickets for this, Eric?
Tickets are available on our website, www.homemadetheater, spelled the American way, E-R, not R-E, .org, O-R-G.
Okay.
Or by calling our box office from noon to 4, Monday through Friday, and that's 518-587-4427.
Okay.
So that's how you can get tickets, and it opens this Friday. It runs Friday night, 2 shows Saturday, a Sunday matinee, and then next weekend we have a Thursday night,
Oh, yes. Okay.
Friday night, 2 shows Saturday, and a Sunday matinee.
Yes, so you get all those shows in, and you want to see a wonderful, wonderful production. I mean, I had been watching the productions previously to being involved in it, and you do good products, and it's a very solid traditional show. People
Yes.
know Secret Garden.
Yes.
So give yourself some pleasure and go see Secret Garden.
Yes, please do. Thank you so much for having us again.
And thank you for being here, Eric.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. And we're going to flip over to our Opera Saratoga people.
Hello, my name is Nicoletta Berry, and I am a festival artist at Opera Saratoga this summer. Today I'll be singing In Uomini, in Soldati from Così fan tutte by Mozart, which we will be performing this summer. In this aria, Despina, my character, is convincing her two bosses, Fiordiligi and Dorabella. Well, she's giving them a lesson in the opposite sex and the fickle ways that they treat women. And she's trying to convince them by the end of the aria to treat men the same way they treat us. Let's love for convenience, for vanity's sake. So this is In Uomini, in Soldati. In uomini, in soldati. Sperare fedeltà. In uomini sperare fedeltà. In soldati sperare fedeltà. Fedeltà. Non vi fate sentir per carità, non vi fate sentir per carità. Di posta simile son tutti quanti, le fronde immobili, laurea incostante, ampio degli uomini, stabilità, mentite lagrime, fallaci sguardi, voci ingannevoli, vezzi bugiardi, son le primorie, lor qualità, son le primorie, lor qualità, e noi non amano che il lor diletto, poi ci dispregiano, neganci affetto, ne val da barbari chieder pietà, ne val da barbari chieder pietà, chieder pietà, d'ugual moneta, questa malefica razza indiscreta, amiam per comodo, per vanità, amiam per comodo, per vanità. Amiam per comodo, per vanità, la 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 la, amiam per comodo, per vanità. Amiam per comodo, per vanità, la 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 la, amiam per comodo, per vanità, amiam per comodo, per vanità, amiam per comodo, per vanità.
Lovely, lovely.
Well, hello. Need to fight. Yes. So this is Opera Saratoga, and you're having a gala June 9th at the Canfield Casino.
We absolutely are. That is one of the kickoff events for our season. It's also capping the end of Belmont weekend. So people can go to the races and then stay for the gala, although I believe we are sold out at 175 people right now. All of our festival artists will be performing, and we'll give a little season preview for that as well. So that's the kickoff.
So this is Laurie Rogers. And what is your association with them other than accompanist?
This is my 14th season with Opera Saratoga. I am the director of the Festival Artist Program and head of music, and I'll also be conducting one of the performances of Così fan tutte at the end of June.
So, Così fan tutte, how long will that run, and where will it be presented?
All of our offerings this summer are in downtown Saratoga at Universal Preservation Hall, which is that wonderful old church that has been now retrofitted into a performance venue. And Eric Rudy spoke earlier about doing things in Thrust. We're also doing our performances in Thrust with the stage out, audience around, and also up in the balconies as well. So all of our performances will take place there. We have 3 main stage productions beginning, we open June 28th, Friday, June 28th. And we have 4 performances of Mozart's Così fan tutte, and then we have 6 performances of Guys and Dolls, classic Broadway musical Guys and Dolls. And then we have 2 performances of a very special world premiere of an opera that's being written for us right now by the composer Inti Figgis Vizueta. Their theme this summer was a gambling season. We thought, especially because of the Belmont coming and because this is a town that likes high risk and pleasure seeking and all kinds of things, each one of the pieces has a theme of gambling and risk to it. In Così fan tutte, there's a bet that happens. They make a bet whether the girlfriends will stay faithful or not. And I think our director is going to have a little untraditional take on the ending of this, but we have yet to see that. And then Guys and Dolls, of course, is all about betting, and has, I've got the horse right here. His name is Paul Revere, which we will be performing at the Belmont on Friday, actually. And then also the famous Adelaide's Lament, where she talks about when I get off the train at Saratoga, and so we have that. So that was a natural to fit for the season. And then the world premiere is the biggest gamble of all because we don't know what it is yet. It's being written. The composer met with the singers last week for the first time. We have 5 singers on this project, and she got to know all their voices and sort of how they sing together, how their voices blend. She had them improvise a little bit and just see. And now she's gone away for a little bit and is going to come back, I think, every other week and sort of update with everybody and put things together. And I think it's going to be super exciting.
It is very exciting.
Yes.
Again, I sing in an oratorio group, and we commission pieces, and you're never sure what you get. But they were always wonderful.
Exactly. Well, part of our mission at Opera Saratoga is to perform contemporary 21st century American repertoire. That's been very much a mainstay of the company for years. We've had several world premieres, and this is part of that project as well.
Yes. So they've been around for how long, did you say?
The company? This is our 63rd season.
Oh, wow.
We were incarnated as Lake George Opera for 50 years, and then my first season in 2011, we made the switch over to Opera Saratoga to reflect a little more accurately our venue, because we weren't performing in the Lake George region anymore. We were part of the Saratoga arts scene and performing at that point in the Spa Little Theater. On the park grounds. And now we've moved over to UPH for the past couple of seasons, but to really solidify with the Saratoga community. But it's been 63 years. Our festival artist training program is the 2nd oldest in the country.
Oh, yes.
So we've been around for quite a while.
Yes. And you need to do that. You need to bring up the next generation of sisters as well as listeners.
Both. And it's so exciting. We hear Mary Birnbaum, the general and artistic director, and I we have about 1,000 applications every year to our training program. And I would say out of those 1,000, and of course of those 1,000, about 650 are sopranos, mind you. But out of those 1,000, I think we might hear about 300 auditions. We screen them first, and then we hear 300 auditions. Now, because we do music theater, we ask them to submit a monologue as well, because there's often dialogue they have to handle. And then we screen from that. And I think this year of 300 auditions, we took 16 singers.
Yes.
So these programs are super competitive and very specific, because we knew this year we needed people to do Guys and Dolls who could handle that kind of classic musical theater style. But then we needed to have people who are comfortable with contemporary music. And we actually require a 21st century piece of repertoire as part of the audition, so we can gauge how people use that musical language. But then Mozart, we need Mozartian singers as well. And then all of our festival artist singers understudy or cover the roles as well. So some of them are singing principal roles and some of them are understudying the principal roles. So we need to have people that can handle a variety of repertoire.
Right.
A lot of
And,
versatility.
I mean, you often hear of people being on Broadway and they sing and they dance and they play instruments and they act and then they do all of this. And to be successful, that's what you need to do. I mean, even your opera singers, you need to be convincing on stage.
Yes.
As large a man as Pavarotti was, when he is saying to Mimi in Poème, Mimi, I mean, he is a large man, but he acts that part, and you want to be Mimi.
Well, it's all about the storytelling, isn't it? It's how you communicate the story. Exactly. Exactly. And I teach at the Peabody Institute during the year, and we've just had a whole series of guest teachers come in specifically to address music theater.
Yes.
Because a lot more of the opera companies are producing music theater. The summer companies are. Houston Grand just did Sound of Music. So the teachers recognize this is something we need to be able to teach our students as well.
Yes.
Because they have to be very versatile. And not just Mozart, but contemporary repertoire, Broadway repertoire. It's a lot to ask.
Yes. So again, when can people hear gorgeous music coming up soon?
We have lots of opportunities. Our season opens on June 28th at UPH. We also have 5 family shows that we're doing around the Saratoga area. This is all on our website, which is www.operasaratoga.org. And we have 5 sort of shorter family versions. So it will be a little bit of each show, and it's very family-friendly, very kid-friendly. To get an introduction to this, we'll be doing that at the Saratoga Library, the Farmers Market, Saratoga Arts, and at UPH. Those are coming up. We are doing a Juneteenth concert up at the Sembrick with our alumnus, Dr. Carl DuPont, singing music of Anthony Davis. But our main stage season starts June 28th.
Thank you very much.
Thank
for
you.
being here. And just sit tight for just a minute.
Absolutely.
And we're going to also announce that there will be a dragon boat on June 9th. Coming up is Flag Day, which I think is June 12th or 14th. And Father's Day. Oh, the 14th, okay. And then Father's Day. So all wonderful events. And look around our area. On Father's Day, there will be a picnic at the German American Club, which is on Cherry Street all afternoon. So if you're not doing anything special, go over and eat German food and listen to German music. It'll be fun. Our guests coming up for our next show include the Adirondack Theater Festival, the Mountain Ridge Adventure, Murder Mystery Theater, Schenectady Rotary, and Summer Lunch Program. So we thank you for listening to Capital Region Today. Have a good week.